everyone! For today's episode, me and my friends are going to talk about the end of the world. I know, it's an interesting topic, right? But also kind of a sensitive one because it's about the end of the world. Everything will be gone, as in wipeout. But you know what? Don't be afraid about it because I, Joel, Eilish, and Maisie are here to guide you in today's topic.
The emergence of modern technology has been perceived as humanity's greatest invention because it benefits the world and puts us at an advantage. As a result, almost everything today is instant. Therefore, we, humans, have become almost entirely reliant on these inventions and became lax with everything. Furthermore, one of the most beneficial services that contemporary technology has brought us is communication. Finally, everything is done online or with the intervention and assistance of these innovations that are supposed to make our lives easier. People were given shortcuts by these advanced technologies, and humans normally choose the easy way out. As a consequence, people lose their sense of time and the gravity of each second. People are unable to grasp the essence of each living moment because of these shortcuts.
The Church has placed the solemnity of Christ the King at the end of the liturgical calendar, which is at the end of the Sunday of ordinary time. It is meant to direct the heart and mind of people to an important future. That is to show that Christ is the Lord of time and history.
The doctrine of the final events is known as eschatology. The term alludes metaphorically to the end of ordinary reality and reunification with the divine in the context of mysticism. That being said, the end of the world is closely linked to the second coming of Christ, who is both the Alpha and the Omega. Christ's moniker of Alpha and Omega denotes that he is both the beginning and end of everything. It is the same as him being omnipresent or ubiquitous because he has always existed and will continue to exist. Christ is the first and the last as the Alpha and the Omega. He is the author and finisher of our faith, meaning he begins it and sees it to conclusion. Moreover, people frequently equate the end of the world with the destruction of the entire world and the extinction of humanity, thus the end of all things. However, this shall awaken us to the fact that the end of the world is not meant to frighten us or threaten us in any way. Rather, it is God reaching out his able hands to us, calling us to come and be with him. Ecclesiastes falls under the domain of wisdom literature. It is a contemplation of life's meaning. When we are tempted to proclaim life's ultimate emptiness, the author of Ecclesiastes believes that we can find a perspective tempered by experience and ultimately seen through divinely colored lenses. In a nutshell, life is fickle, complex, and unpredictable, and it will remain thus unless we recognize God's intervention. It only remains to be seen whether or not we will place our trust in his sure and able hands.
Due to the pandemic, lockdowns and quarantines were administered, meaning people must be inside their homes and only a limited number of people were allowed to go out. During those periods where most of our time is spent at home, we had time to reunite with our family and to bond with them. But in reality, many became addicted with their phones and other gadgets since education and work has stopped. A lot of us were up all night playing games, surfing the internet, and watching movies kasi wala namang pasok, to the point that we became unproductive. And this addiction did not only happen during the pandemic. It just worsened, and up until now, it is continuously happening because of the advancement of our technology. There is nothing really wrong with playing video games and surfing the internet. What's wrong is when we abuse it, when we become addicted to it, hanggang sa doon na lang umiikot yung mundo natin. Time is gold. Time is gold because you'll never know when your life will end, and you cannot go back in time and change it. It's not like pag inutusan ka ng parents mo, you'll never get to say wait lang because you can never control it. And if God tells you time is up, finish or not finished, pass your papers. You don't have a choice but to pass it. So, do you think you have accomplished all the tasks given to you? Let us keep in mind that God won't ask us about how much wealth we have accumulated, how many professional titles we obtained, or how many properties we bought. Instead, God will ask us how much we loved others, how we served Him. So as long as you're still breathing, do not waste the time you have. Enjoy it, but always keep in mind to serve God and love Him to the fullest.
So what really happens at the end of the world? Is it just the death of every living thing on earth? To clarify this, we have 3 occurrences. First is the resurrection of the body and the renewal of the universe. Just like Christ resurrected, it extends to us, the living and the dead. At death, our soul is separated from our body, and according to the Catechism of the Catholic Church, with resurrection, the body and soul will be united once again in our final destination. The second coming of Christ will be an act of judgment. His return with the angels will be a glorious day for those who belong to Him as He establishes His kingdom on earth, but it will be a dreadful day for all those who opposed Him. The last judgment. At this moment, God will repay each person according to what he has done. He is in control of the destiny of the sinners, believers, and non-believers. According to the Catechism of the Catholic Church 1042, at the end of time, the kingdom of God will come in its fullness. After the universal judgment, the righteous will reign forever with Christ, glorified in body and soul, and the universe itself will be renewed. The New Testament calls this mysterious transformation of humanity and the world as new heavens and new earth. How will the world come to an end? There is a vivid description written in the Bible from Matthew chapter 24 verses 29 to 30. It says, "Immediately after the tribulation of those days, the sun will be darkened, the moon will not give its light, the stars will fall from the sky, and the powers of the heavens will be shaken. And then the Son of Man will appear in heaven, and all the tribes of the earth will mourn." For us to be in peace while living, we must accept that the end of the world, or death itself, is a thief of the night. Minsan, akala natin okay na lahat. Kapag kumalma na yung sambayanan, biglang may sakuna, gera, at iba pang gulo na nangyayari. May iba hindi natin nina-expect na mawawala sa atin. And we can relate this to Matthew chapter 24 verses 42 to 44. If you do not believe or still have doubts about the end of the world, the resurrection and everything, might as well read the book of Revelation, because here we get the assurance we need that God is in control and the Lord's salvation will come and put an end to the sufferings of humanity. Now let us go to the next concept. There are also 2 judgments. Particular judgment occurs at the moment of a person's death, wherein you get what you deserve. Either you attain the joys of heaven, you may be purified in purgatory, or you will be separated from God in hell. As for the general judgment, it is our final step. The nations will be gathered and our personal relationship with God will be revealed. How can we know the world is ending? There are signs. The time of trial will be marked by religious deception, apostasy from the true faith, and the rise of the Antichrist. From what is happening now, it is quite possible that the end is near, but no one really knows except God.
When will the world end? Or is the world really ending? These are just some of the common questions we tend to ask ourselves. May it be serious or a form of humor. Let's face reality. We do not really know when will it happen, right? Even the Bible does not give us an exact time and day, as we are only catered with signs of the world's ending that will precede parousia or the second coming. In simpler terms, every single thing here on earth will cave in, and we cannot stop it from happening, as it is the fate of every organism here on earth. One greatest example that I can give you so that you could imagine the end of the world are the movies we see. Try to picture in your minds the scenes from the movie 2012. At that time, we were fascinated with how the movie turned out, as the casts, crews, and director has done their part in showing us the scenarios that might really happen before the world's end. In connection to that, do you remember the time when we all thought that the world's going to end back in 2012? Some of us did not believe, but some did. And this is an example of what the Bible is trying to tell us, that we cannot really foretell the second coming. But here's another question. Maybe the world did end at that specific year. We just didn't realize because we were too preoccupied with our own businesses. Or maybe it didn't even happen. On the other hand, I have researched on the net some of the things people would love to do before the judgment day comes. Some people would like to watch the sunrise and sunset, party like there's no tomorrow, visit all the places in the world they've never been to, apologize to other people, treat themselves, make a list of regrets and then burn it, learn something new, take a risk, and tell their loved ones that they love them dearly. These are just some of the bucket list people wish to accomplish before the world caves in. But as a child of God, what shall we really do? It is believed that no man in this world, even the angels in heaven and the Son himself, knows when it will happen, which is why we should always ready ourselves to whatever possibilities may arise. Because being prepared is the only sword you'll be needing in this kind of battle. Learn how to accept whatever fate may come to you. At any moment, the Father will come. So while you still have plenty of time, perform good acts. Not just because you want to enter heaven, but because you wanted to do those acts wholeheartedly. Forgive those people who have wronged you. Remember to love people dearly, because God will reward the good and punish the wicked. We should also turn towards God and away from whatever dishonors Him, as this is the mere reason why we tend to get lost in the dark, why we drown in the oceans, because we let evil eat our souls. And until we have such enough time here on earth, we should always choose God above anything else. Lastly, only those who are prepared for His return in glory will not fear the end of the world, because deep inside, you know if you've done your part in your mission. Do not be afraid if you know that every day you are trying to redeem yourself, yet you should not also count the things you've done. Always be kind and compassionate. Doing this won't cost you anything, and most importantly, never forget to pray. God hears us and answers our prayers through His miraculous ways, for He is never too late, nor too early, but always on time. And that is all for today's episode. We hope that you learned something new from us. Remember to always choose what is right, so that the last thing you'll check on your list is regretting in the